So, you're trying to lose body fat. I know, it sucks and it's hard, but thankfully you don't have to panic because I'm here and I'm gonna help you. Today I'm gonna give you guys the ultimate guide to using cardio for fat loss. Let's talk about it. It's just a little bit harder. How did you make the right than being put? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Simanga Michael Njapa here. I'm a personal trainer and an online coach. I help change people's lives with exercise. Thank you so much for watching the video. Welcome back to the channel. If you have not, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Today I'm going to give you guys the ultimate guide on using cardio for fat loss. Now, I want to quickly preface this video and say that you shouldn't use cardio for fat loss. We've talked about this many times on the channel that strength training is super paramount, it's super important, and you rather use strength training as a means to boost your metabolism in order so that you burn more fat at rest. Again, if you want more context on kind of videos like that, I will link a video up there for you guys, just in case you don't know about those. And if for some reason my editor forgets to link the video, which we'll have a talk about, just make sure that you check the channel. I have spoken about it extensively on the channel. There should be a video there to help you out. Right, let's get into it. The reason why cardio isn't great when you're making it the be all and end all for fat loss is because there's only so much cardio you can continue to add and continue to do until you hit a brick wall and you cannot do any more than that. But anyways, let's get into the list. So number one is perform your cardiovascular training, especially if it's intense, after your strength training. So we know that you have to strength train, boost your metabolism, muscle, that's all great. But if you're going to do your cardio and you want to lose fat, rather do it after your strength training. This is because there's many studies that have come out showing that when you strength train first, then do your cardio, you tend to be better in terms of your strength training. You're stronger, you're able to lift the way you're supposed to lift, you're not fatigued. Whereas if you do it the other way, you're almost too tired and you're too fatigued from what you did prior to the strength training, and then you don't end up giving your all to the strength training, and then you don't get the results that you want to get in terms of muscle building, etc, etc. Basically, you'll have suboptimal performance when it's time to strength train, and nobody wants that. Right, number two, pick your poison. What I mean by this is pick a cardio modality that you like and you'll be able to stick to. So whether it's running, even though you guys know how I feel about running, cycling, swimming, HIIT training, you can still do all of those, or you can do one that you really like. And the reason why you want to pick one that you really like is because it's going to be easier to stick to. Working out is already hard as it is. It's already hard to go to the gym on days where you don't feel like it, especially if you're working a really tough job. It's gonna be hard. There's gonna be days where you're definitely not feeling it. And when you love the kind of thing that you do, that pain that you're gonna go get in the gym, and you kind of like it, at least, it's easier for you to stick to it in the long term. And then if you can stick to something in the long term, we already know that you're gonna reap the benefits of it. So yeah, pick something that you like. And then if you want, you can even add a HIIT training or high intensity interval training element to your swimming, to your running, or your cycling. So you'll really get after it for about 50 to 20 seconds. And then you'll have some sort of rest, where 40 to 60 seconds, depending on where you are in your journey, depending on how you feel. And then you rest a little bit, you let your heart rate come down, then you get after it again. And then you repeat that kind of cycle for maybe 3 to 5 rounds, especially if you're starting out. Cool, next. Right, number three is that it's super important to be consistent. We know this, we all know this, but yet and still it's one of the hardest things for people to practice. Why is that? Because it's hard to be consistent. Because going to the gym and being consistent at anything is hard. So what I mean by this is just be consistent, about 150 minutes of moderate cardiovascular training throughout the week, which works out to about 21 minutes if you're doing cardio every day, and then maybe about 75-ish minutes of intense cardio training throughout the week. You can vary them, you can do either or. You can even do both, but then maybe have a day where you do intense and then relatively moderate and then intense. You can vary them. But also, if you're not going to train every day of the week and you're gonna not do cardio every day of the week, then you might want to bump it up from 21 minutes, let's say, to 30 minutes, and then maybe you'll do that 4 times a week instead of every day of the week. Again, that's just a guideline. If you don't reach those numbers, it still doesn't mean that you won't lose body fat using this method. Last but not least, vary the intensity. So here I mean vary the intensity of the cardiovascular training. Like we spoke about earlier, you could either do some sort of HIIT training, or you could do a more steady state kind of thing. Again, this depends on the individual, how well trained you are, if you're fatigued from your previous workouts, if you're fatigued from the day, if you haven't eaten, if you haven't slept. All those things can determine, okay, you're here now, you got to the gym, you had this kind of day, you didn't sleep, whatever the case might be. Now you still have to do your workout, and then just choose the appropriate modality, choose the appropriate intensity for the day. Because not every day is going to be the same, I can promise you that. Right, last thing I want you guys to consider, even when you're varying the intensity of your cardiovascular workouts, is that more isn't necessarily better. More intense doesn't necessarily mean you're going to burn more fat and see more progress. It's mostly about, with all of the stuff that I mentioned even on the channel, it's mostly about doing it, finding what works for you, sticking to it over the long run, and you will see results. And then you might have to tweak things here and there, might have to speak to a professional, but whatever the case it might be, but consistency is super key. And then more, especially with your body, doesn't always mean more. You know, our bodies are not machines. As amazing as the human body is, it's not a machine. It is finite in terms of some of the levels that it can reach. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Please make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, so I can continue to post great videos like this. Share this video with someone that you know is a big fan of cardio and needs to know this kind of stuff. Lastly, we finally finished and launched the Starter Pack program. If you don't know what the Starter Pack program is, it is a program that I made especially for the beginner, someone who wants to start out with the working out. They don't know what to do. They need some sort of guidance as to how to get moving. I've done my best to make it super comprehensive. I've put videos on there. I've put voiceovers with the videos. I've put a supplement PDF on there. I've also put diet resources in there so that you know what kind of food you should be eating, how much in terms of the macros it is, what kind of macronutrients you need for your goal, and all that kind of stuff. Thank you so much for watching, guys. The link will be in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one.